somewhere tomorrow without me.
Okay. The Port Wentworth November City Council meeting will now come to order. Okay. Okay. Paul, you can do a prayer tonight if you don't mind. Not right now, but just reminding. Okay. Approval of the agenda.
I'll approve the agenda.
Okay.
We had an exception for the agenda. We put in I don't know the young lady's name, but under communications and petitions to talk about a community garden.
That's correct. Miss Hannah, you here? You can speak when we call you up, honey. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So we did
We're on number 5,
You're on number 5?
recognition of special guests. Now you're going to do.
Okay.
Under the approval of the agenda too, we scratched 12B.
Okay. When we,
Okay.
The other addition is to take 12B off.
off the agenda. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You removed.
Adoption of minutes. Anybody want that?
I'll do it.
Okay, Linda. All right, communication and petitions.
That's where Hannah's going to be.
That's where Hannah will speak. When we get to communications and petitions, honey, you can come up and speak. Thank you. All right, committee reports. Is that Mark? Okay. I think Tiffany has something to speak on there. Okay, the consent agenda.
Linwood raised his hand.
Linwood?
I was scratching my head.
Oh, I know how that goes.
Consent.
What's that?
There's nothing on it there, so.
Okay. All right. Do we have any unfinished business?
No, sir.
All right, let's get started. The meeting is now called to order. Brother Paul?
Mr. Mayor, before Reverend Munjan comes to say the prayer on tonight, I need to remind all of council, Mr. Corsi and Mr. Jones, it is imperative that you speak directly into this microphone. We have received several complaints that we still cannot be heard live on Facebook. So please, please, sir and ma'am, speak into your mic. Thank you.
Our Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you tonight. We thank you so much for your many blessings to us. We thank you for the city of Port Wentworth. We pray for your blessings over this meeting tonight, over all the council members and all those who are present. Lord, we ask for your mercy and your grace as we go to do the business here of this city tonight. In Christ's name we do pray. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
All are present on tonight, Your Honor. We have Mr. Brian Harvey, Director of Development Services. He's attending us via the remote call.
He has some severe coughing that goes on, and he didn't want to bring that into here and get somebody on. How's that?
Hey.
Mr. Harvey?
Got some feedback.
We're having a little bit of feedback.
There's a lot of them out there.
If you don't mind, also just remember to mute the background. Thank you.
Okay, approval of the agenda.
Make a recommendation, we approve the agenda with 2 modifications. A guest speaker, what's her name?
Hannah.
Hannah.
Hannah as the guest speaker,
Yes.
and to remove
Weimer.
12B from the agenda.
Okay. Get
Second.
a second. All in favor?
Hi.
Motion passes. Okay, recognition of special guest. We don't have any. Okay. Elections and petitions. The appointment of Edwin L. Booth as city manager. Anybody have any questions?
Is Mr. Booth here tonight, or?
Yes, sir, he
Yes.
is. Front right.
You want him to come forward?
Yeah, why not?
Mr. Booth, you please come forward.
I'd like to thank the council for allowing me to be part of your team. And I really will try in the next year or so to keep any controversy away from the city. I really think that the people out there that are really in craziness out there with the virus and with the politics need to hang their hat on the city being stable. And that's really what we need to do. This will be over here in less than a year, but I think up to then, we need to really keep it down low. I will, in the next 6 months, 3 to 6 months, provide an assessment of the city to you. Most of it will be from the directors and their input. That's what a consultant really does, is he takes your information and feeds it back to you. Well, I'll do that also without having to charge you. So thank you very much again. And I think we have a great city here, and we will continue. Questions?
Anybody got any questions?
Nope.
Hooah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve his appointment.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll second.
All in favor?
That's fine.
Huh?
Motion passes. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
And when will he begin?
If you would sign his contract, too, Mayor, it's before you and council.
And can we
And
add the
start-
effective date?
Our
Right.
effective date, January 1st, that's what the contract says.
Yeah,
Okay.
but he's gonna, he's gonna shadow
Okay.
Mr. Jones, is that correct?
For, whenever, he is scheduled to come, at least in our early conversations, 30 days from the date of appointment, which would be tonight, or less. And he potentially can get here earlier, potentially earlier than that. And if he does, then if, with y'all's consent, then we'll continue to work together so that the transition is real smooth and he knows where everything is.
All for it.
I also will live in the town.
Yeah, he has
No,
already,
the charter doesn't require it. I believe that you have to live in the town to find out what's going on.
Thank you for that, too, sir. Okay, adoption of minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the city council regular meeting October 22nd.
And also the executive session.
I'm gonna do that in a minute, I think. I do it separately, right?
You could do it all together if you want.
I think,
We can do it either way,
Yeah,
however you
A and B.
want to do it.
being it's all at the same day, I guess we can do it all together. I've got a lot of input here, so executive session also October 22nd.
Get a second on that?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, Ms. Hannah, could you come up, state your name and your address, please?
Good afternoon. My name is Hannah Weimer.
Hannah, if you don't mind, you can pull that microphone closer to your mouth. There you go.
I reside at 120 South Coastal Highway, Port Wentworth. The purpose of my presentation today is to propose the development of a community garden, which I would manage.
I can't
And-
hear.
Could you speak a little louder?
I apologize.
You can pull your mask down, honey.
The purpose of my presentation today is to propose the development of a community garden, which I would manage. In the realm of science, I have been in the scientific research program at my school since I was a freshman. I am currently a sophomore. I've designed and completed environmental stewardship projects for said program before. I have completed a project titled Salona salata infestation of the eastern oyster shell related to pollution. The purpose of the project was to determine if excess nutrients leach into water through pollution cause higher density of boring sponge damage to eastern oyster shells. I presented my data collection and project design at a symposium to academic professors and members of the science community. The data collection and design were conducted outside of the classroom and was collected over the course of a month and a half. I've maintained an A average in every class during my high school career and currently have a GPA of 97.2, including last year when I finished the entire school year with a GPA of 99.6 and was third in my class of 282. I've achieved this level of academic success by being extremely dedicated in all of my endeavors and plan to put the same level of dedication into this project. The reason I am proposing a community garden to benefit and educate the community on the importance of environmental health while also improving the quality of the land that it is located on. I would collect several pieces of data over time, such as soil quality index, to assess the overall health of the land and see if the presence of the garden helped establish a healthier environment. I would also implement a pollinator garden and housing to see if the increased presence of pollinators helped improve the overall well-being of the land, while also providing the necessary resources pollinators such as bees need to sustain themselves. The data collected would be used in a design project for the scientific research program and would be used over the next 3 years. I believe that this project would be mutually beneficial to the community by increasing the availability of nutritious food, strengthening community ties, reducing environmental hazards, and creating a more sustainable system. Community gardens could mitigate some of the problems that plague urban areas. Thank you in advance for considering this project, which is extremely important and dear to me.
Jeez. Wow.
Anybody have any questions for
Mr.
Hannah?
Mayor.
Thank you.
Hannah, right?
Yes,
Where did you go to high school?
at Islands High School.
Islands High School.
Yes, it's
I'll
on
be
Wilmington.
refereeing football there tomorrow night. That's a way far to go out there from
Four
Fort Worth,
islands.
Georgia, right? Yeah. Mr. Mayor, I tell you what, it's been a long time that I've heard someone come in like that and use verbiage like that. As I'm assuming you're about 15 or 16 at the max, correct?
I'm 16 in December.
16, so early happy birthday.
Thank you.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
That
I
is
appreciate
awesome,
it.
and I will stand. You live on Coastal Highway, right?
Yes,
Right
I
there
do.
by the Baptist Church, right down from the Baptist Church.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's my district, and I know we all represent the city of Port Wentworth, but I take pride in the area that I live in, and based on some of the things you were just saying, and I was just telling my co-councilwoman here that some people in my district have been wanting to get together and after the first of the year to talk about our district and how we can do some cleaning up and doing some things. And I would like to meet with you or get my phone number, so I wanted to get you involved with that.
I would
It
be
is
extremely
amazing
grateful.
that young people, where it's hard for us to get out and get adults to participate in things. And I know in the past we've had done some things. I know Councilwoman Smith had some projects that went on a few years back. But to get young people like you who care about their city and some of the words you were using, Lord, I ain't heard some of them words since college anyway. So I am extremely excited to hear this tonight. Kind of uplifted me a little bit. And I look forward to working with you. And Mr. Mayor, if it's okay, I would like to support her in the work that she wants to do and going forward in a positive way.
Thank you. I'm
What
extremely
would the
grateful.
city have to do?
Yeah.
Is that what you was going to ask?
Actually, and two more with yours. Yeah.
The city be required to do?
All I'm asking is that I am provided land.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Pull that mask down. Thank you.
All I'm asking that the city provide is land. Any resources that I need, such as like materials to build the garden, the plants, the soil, compost, everything like that, I am willing to provide myself. All I need is the land to do it on.
Wow.
Well, I think you're probably going to need a tiller also. It's hard to push a plow nowadays.
My other question to that is the harvest going to be free to all citizens, or first come, first serve?
My current plan as of now is to have everything done and ready by spring, and hopefully by then things like COVID have died down and it's more people are able to come and be involved with it. But yeah, it would be first come, first served with everything, including like helping when it's time to harvest the crops, everything like that. It would be whoever arrives first.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
How much land are you talking about?
I'm willing to take anything. This is extremely important to me, and I'll use anything that I could get and put it to use.
Oh, there's some available.
Well, I know where there's some land that is people's has used in the past. It doesn't belong to the city of Port Wentworth, but Southern Railroad never said, you can't plant your crops over here, but it's been there.
If we don't own the land, that would not be good, because once when they decide to say, hey, we're going to use it, now you got to move. Then lo and behold, she's out of the project, so that's not a good
But we could
idea.
do that in advance.
I'm about to say we could discuss that later.
But what we need to do is
move forward.
plan a workshop so
Yeah.
we can all sit down and talk about it.
Exactly.
As council knows, we do have 24 acres that was donated to us. We can do some clearing in that area behind the police station and the soccer field, and that would provide an ideal location in close proximity
Yeah.
so to people where they can go work and help with the project. So we would simply have to designate a piece of where that would be.
But I just want to let y'all know it's a little bit more to it than what we're discussing right now. And if we want to put the power behind it to do it, we can do it. I mean, that's But we'll plan a workshop in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and sit down and discuss it. And you can come to our workshop and discuss it with us. How's that?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, we appreciate you, Hannah, for what
I
you're doing.
appreciate you for hearing me out.
Pronounce your last name.
Mer?
Weimer?
Yes.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right, committee reports.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the committee reports, but before that, I have a question. What's the current status of, as far as searching for a new, travel bureau or chamber to promote the city? What's being done to promote the city right now?
Where are we at on that, Jimmy?
Waiting on you to tell me what entity is going to do it.
All right.
How we're going
Do
to
you-
go about filling it.
Did we open the new account? Or do we have a new account for that? For that
would
money?
be, Phil, an answer or a question for Phil.
Well, as soon as that money starts coming in, we have some money that is still committed to the old because
Okay.
of some, of the way the filing goes.
Well, we need to open it back up then.
Okay, and secondly, I've heard some complaints from some business reps that when people are calling the city asking about the chamber, they've been told that the chamber is now defunct, is now closed. That's not the case. So we may need to be better on our messaging going forward.
Well, the
Mr.
chamber isn't in
Stevens.
operation.
That's not,
Chamber is in operation.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
as far as the city's concerned, Mark, it isn't because the contract was not renewed. Now, they still may be a chamber. They still have a 506c3, and they can operate under their own. It's just that the city's a non-contributor at this time.
Yeah, but to
So-
blindly say that they are not in business anymore, they are not open anymore, that is blatantly disrespectful.
Well, is their number on the sign?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All right, maybe we just need to refer to that number that's on the sign if they're called the city.
But are they, Mr. Phil or Mr. Corsi, please answer this question. Are they considered the Chamber of Commerce now?
They are a valid Georgia corporation that call themselves the Port Wentworth Chamber of Commerce. What the city has done, the council has done, is to sever its relationship as far as contributing hotel, motel tax monies to that organization.
All right.
Yeah, I thought we had made it very clear, nothing we were doing as a city or as a council was affecting the organizational structure of the Chamber of Commerce itself.
But
Does that make
when-
sense?
Yes.
Yeah, but when you have city employees saying that the place is closed, this place is defunct, that affects them.
Okay,
All
from
they
here.
have to do as a
here on
city
forward,
employee is tell them
just give them the number.
they're
Funded by
still
the
in
city
business,
anymore.
but they're no longer affiliated with the city.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple response.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's easy enough to do.
Mr.
that out
Stevens,
there?
I have a question. Now, you said that people are calling the city. So are you referring to here at City Hall?
Yes.
Because as the director of that department of administration, I have not been informed by any of my clerks
Or me.
of any calls of any sort regarding the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, but like I said, I've been told that.
Me either. I haven't
No,
received one
I have
call.
not received any personal calls. Mr. Jones has not mentioned to me any calls. So I would like to know to whom they're speaking to.
Yeah, we need to
Because
find
we
out who they
have
are.
Yeah, I will
not
check.
informed our clerks of anything related to the chamber.
I
And
will
they are
check.
well versed to know to contact me or Mr. Jones when it comes to that.
I will check.
So the bottom line is their contract was not renewed, but they are still considered a Chamber of Commerce. Are they still considered the Port Wentworth Chamber of Commerce?
Operating under
that-
that name.
the title that they pay for.
Make sure I'm clarified on that.
Yeah, they have a 506 C3, and as a result of that, that gives them that name. That's the title at which they applied for
Okay.
that public nonprofit. So they are still operating under that public nonprofit
But they
license.
don't operate for the city of Port
Simply
Wentworth now.
don't currently represent.
So I think that's the confusion. Right. Okay.
All right.
And I can understand that.
There's nothing the city has done or the council has done to strip them of their name, and I don't think you can do that.
No.
Not legally. So it still operates. I'm assuming that they are continuing to do business, which is what Councilman Stevens is suggesting. And the city employees should refer any questions to the Port Wentworth Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. But they're not operating under the
They're
city
not
guise.
operating with
The city's.
approved
Okay.
hotel, motel, excise tax monies at this point in time.
Okay. I hope a lot of people are listening
Okay?
on the air.
All right, Mr. Stevens, you want to finish with it?
Okay, I make a motion to approve the committee reports as is.
All right, well, she's still,
I would like for Tiffany to
Tiffany
be
still needs to
acknowledged.
speak.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to say a few things. For one, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do our Christmas tree lighting this year due to wonderful COVID-19, but we are instead going to do our outdoor holiday family movie night. It was a success, we felt, in the fall, and we are going to do it again outdoors. Under the nights, we're going to do, under the stars, we're going to do A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. We're still going to have the fire truck come by with Santa and Mrs. Claus, and they're going to do a wave. And then throughout the evening, the fire truck is going to go through a few of the neighborhoods throughout the city of Port Wentworth that night. We're also going to have bags of toys we're still going to give out. So whoever comes to the movie night, we will have a tent set up. We're going to have COVID-related CDC requirements. We'll have space set up between people. Hopefully, people will respect each other, and we'll have hand sanitizer set up. We'll be able to just pass out the toys for each one of the kids, and people can spread out and watch and enjoy an evening full of fun. We will light the tree. There won't be a ceremony, but it will be lit. We've already put the tree up. There's the lights, the holiday lights have been put up as well yesterday and today. You'll see them probably lit tonight down Highway 21 and throughout the downtown area. So those are up and out and about. But unfortunately, we won't do the tree lighting this year. We're super sad about that. We've done that every year. But we're pretty excited about the outdoor holiday movie night. And hopefully that'll be a success, as well as Santa going through the neighborhoods in a fire truck this year. And we'll announce that through our Facebook, through the city Facebook, and through our e-blasts. And we'll put it on the water bill. We also have started basketball practices. We actually started super early this year. We finished up football. We did extremely well. I think we only lost one football game with our 10 and under football team this year. So we did really, really well with our one football team that we had. So we were really excited about that. But we did have 3 soccer teams, and the soccer teams did really well as well. We're a little nervous about basketball, but basketball numbers are coming in, and all our coaches are abiding by all the CDC rules. We're doing really well in sign-ups, so we're just asking everybody to please to get out there, and we want to get the wiggles out of these kids. They've been cooped up, and get them out and get them registered. Yes, sir.
Tiffany, I got a question about the COVID-19 testing that's going to be on December the 2nd at the gymnasium.
Yes, sir.
Is that going to be free, and is it a blood or nasal swab test?
It's a nasal swab, and it will be free. You just have to show your ID and insurance card.
Okay.
And it will be in front of the gym, so people can just drive by and walk up. And
What if you don't have insurance?
you know what? I don't know the question. Mr. Jones, do you have the answer to
That
that?
question either. They indicated to me that it was going to drive up and free.
Is it the,
Okay.
excuse me, is it the health department doing it?
Yes, sir.
It is.
They didn't take no insurance card when I had mine.
They
It's just an
didn't.
ID card.
Mine either.
They never took an insurance card. That's new if they do it, because there's no need to, it's all free.
Yeah.
I mean, if they told you that, I'd tell you, but.
We are still continuing to do emergency feeding program. We do that Monday through Friday from 11:30 to 1 in front of the gym. It's a hot meal, hot lunch, and a cold breakfast. We do that every day. And we still are doing that for our senior citizens, and that's a frozen, we do five frozen meals every Tuesday, and it's enough for the full week. But please come out and join us. It's on December 4th. It's a Friday. It's going to be dark 30. And please come out, bring your families, social distance, and enjoy the festivity on that day.
All right.
Thank you.
Tiffany, I'd like to say,
Yes.
once again, I'm going to thank you for y'all cleaning that fence off and keeping the gym in nice order over there. And it's like what the police department did with the old city hall. I appreciate y'all doing that. That's a lot of initiative y'all show. And I just hope y'all continue to do that. It looks good, and it makes the city look good. Thank y'all very much.
And we have a picnic bench, a cement picnic bench that's down at the Houlihan. I went and looked at that a couple of days ago, and I understand the other one came in broke. Imagine that.
It did. We ordered 2, and one of them came in completely broke, so we were very disappointed. But I assure you, we will be getting the next one in the next couple weeks.
And the walking path on Armadale is looking so much better.
I was fixing to say, I don't want to leave y'all out, Chris. The sidewalks are looking better. Appreciate y'all getting them straightened out some for us. I know there's some that's crumbling, but we'll have to work with that as we can.
Mm-hmm.
But thank y'all very much for all you do.
So he's got a motion. Did somebody else second it?
Okay, not yet.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, the consent agenda, we didn't have none. All right, new business, item A.
This is the recommended streets for the fire apparatus access project.
65.
Can you hear me now?
Stand it up.
Well, we'll be close. All right, we discussed this at the workshop. This parking thing's really nothing new. I've been with the city for 11 years. It does seem to be getting progressively worse. As we keep building back further into the subdivisions, there's just more houses. There's more distance to travel. We've had a few incidents. We actually had one of our apparatus sideswipe a mirror. I don't know what the nature of the call was. Thankfully, it wasn't very serious. We did have that happen. I've got emails from staff saying, we can't fit through this road and that road. It's a seemingly, like we discussed, it's a seemingly simple, problem, but I'm not sure, it might be kind of a complex solution, but we have to start somewhere. So we sort of went throughout the city, tried to find, I can't say that these are the worst streets. I have no scientific proof, but there's pretty, driving these, there's just some tight spots, and I'm driving with a pickup truck. And we have young guys in $1 million apparatus trying to get through to potentially save somebody's lives. And frankly, the International Fire Code, which is adopted through 120-3-3, pretty much says you need 20 feet of width for fire apparatus access. And I would like to see us provide that.
Okay. Anyone have questions?
Those 6 streets that you've named
Yes, ma'am.
on our report,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to, that's a testing project, right?
Yeah, it's really just a sort of a pilot program, a testing project. Exactly. See how it works, see, if we can get it out there in the water bill, signage. My measuring method was a little unscientific. It was just hit the trip and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the math, it's about 18,000 square or linear feet. We'll have to figure out if we're going to do signs, double-sided, single-sided, the spacing. Savannah, I believe, does 200 feet. To me, in a residential zone, that might be a little overkill, but that's up to everybody else to decide. At 500 feet, I believe if they were double-sided, just doing the math, it'd be about 36 signs. Mm-hmm. But again, I don't know what direction you guys want to take, but we'll gladly do what you guys want us to do.
Well, during the testing, and you put up the signs, will there be any parking on the streets on those 6 streets?
No, ma'am. You can't do it. They're not wide enough. I have the widths here. The 20 to 24 feet. Well, you take that and you put a car there. You can put a Prius there. You don't have 20 feet. So I'm suggesting that there's no parking on those streets.
And I know in some of these streets, they don't have Priuses.
What?
Exactly. I guess that's the best case scenario, but
Yeah, school bus.
so these are the streets that we're recommending. I'll go forward with however you guys want to do it.
It's an action item.
I recommend we give them approval to start the project.
That's right.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. When will those notices go out on the water bill?
Can we shoot for January 1?
Okay.
Shanta, that good?
Yes, sir, we can get it done.
Thank you. Okay, item C.
Item C tonight is the application to amend the zoning map, PIN numbers 7-0906-01-028 and 039.
All right, this public hearing is now open. Anyone here to speak for or against? Nobody? Mr. Phil, you want to tell us what the public, what we need to hear here?
Yeah, it's,
Second reading.
Mr. Harvey?
Harvey is online.
Okay, Brian?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we are on item C
Sir.
tonight, the application to amend the zoning map. And if you would go ahead and just update council on that.
Oh, I did it.
You have the floor, Mr. Harvey.
Can you
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, give me just a moment.
And Shanti, this is for Chesterfield, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Procedurally, this is the second reading. We went through the presentation last month by Mr. McCorkle, and there was one negative vote, which required us to come back to a second reading. I don't believe that there were any objections to the application last month.
Mr. Harvey.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you want to tell us something tonight?
Yes, ma'am. What is the item again, Shanta? I apologize.
We're on item C, related to Chesterfield. It's the second reading.
Perhaps Mr. McCorkle can come up and give us a quick summary.
Okay.
If not, Mr. McCorkle is here. He's gonna.
Just a moment.
Come on, Mr. McCorkle.
Give me just a moment. I'm trying to pull up the
I think.
map here.
Okay. In the meantime, Mr. McCorkle is gonna go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I'll take over, Brian. If you have anything else to add, that's great. This is for zoning on a piece of property that's adjacent to Effingham County. It's Georgia International Trade Center, which is exit zone Highway 21 in Effingham County. We received a unanimous recommendation for approval from Planning and Zoning, and we received a 5-to-1 vote for approval last week. And I was just came to answer any questions, if there were any objections, to respond to those. But we would appreciate an affirmative vote on the second reading.
Mr. McCorkle, this is the property that butts up to the back of Rice Creek?
Yes, sir. And we went through the buffering and the sound study and all those things last month when we had the public hearing.
Anyone have any questions? Okay. This public hearing is now closed. Someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Uh,
Unanimous?
Well, I don't know. Did you say aye?
I said nay.
You said nay, I'm sorry. Okay. Barbie said no. Anyone else? Okay. Okay, item D.
Item D is a subdivision application for 631 Minehart Road, the final plat.
Okay, this public hearing is now open. Anyone here to speak for or against? No one here? Anybody got any questions? You want to tell us what this one's about?
Anyone online?
Mr. Harvey, you with us?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay, so we're on item D for the final plat for Minehart Road.
Yes, ma'am. This subdivision is being proposed just to allow a family conveyance of property. The county allowed a subdivision several years ago for tax purposes, but they did not recognize the formal split. So they have proposed a final plat to be able to convey family property.
Brian, where's this located?
On Minehart Road.
Yeah, it's just down from me,
It's
Your Honor.
on Pender Point
It's
Road,
on,
I believe.
It's closer to I-95.
Okay.
Yeah, all he's wanting to do is convey, once they split the property, he wants to convey it to his daughter so that they can build a home there. He's basically just splitting his property. He came down and spoke with me for a while.
That's all it is.
Okay. Hold on a minute. All right, anybody else got any questions?
All right, are we done?
No, we're not done.
I'm sorry.
Well, we're on item D, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
what I'm saying, we need to make a motion, or you need to close the public
Close
hearing?
it first.
Gotta close it before y'all can make a motion. Exactly. This public hearing is now closed. Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item E.
Item E is 115 Pender Point Warehouse Specific Site Plan.
Okay, this public hearing is now open. Anyone here to speak for or against? Thank you, Jesus.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Chad Zitrow with Kern & Company, here representing North Point Industrial and the property on Pender Point Road. This general development plan was before you in February of 2019 for approximately 550,000 square feet. This site plan is reduced that square footage a little bit to 526,000 square feet. One of the main contentions at the time was access out to Georgia Highway 21 for truck traffic. We have put the recommended turnaround there, and that will be restricted, so there will be no truck access onto Georgia Highway 21. In addition, at the time of the previous general development plan, there was still 10 acres that we did not own down Pender Point. We have now acquired that property, so basically everything within that area is owned by this developer. Other than that, I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Harvey, have they met all the requirements from the engineer?
No, ma'am. There are still several outstanding items that the engineers have not concurred.
Correct. We received the comments. We're working on getting those drafted. If we could get an approval contingent upon the engineer's confirmation, that would be great, so that if it happened between now and the next council meeting. The comments, a lot of them were some staking, some things of that nature, some grading. They can all be addressed. So I don't see any major concerns with it, but however you'd like to take care of that.
Mr. Harvey, do you see any major concerns?
No, ma'am. Excuse me. I feel like the comments will be able to be resolved, and certainly we will not allow any construction or anything to proceed until the city engineers do a letter of concurrence on the project.
I have a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. Zitrower, you mentioned that there was no truck access onto 21?
Correct.
Okay, does that mean truck access is coming out onto 21, or is
No,
it
so
coming off of?
It goes all the way back to Expansion Boulevard in the rear of the property.
Okay, so there will be no cutoffs, no curb cuts or anything over the railroad tracks there?
There will still be automotive access for cars, but all of the truck
Okay.
traffic, heavy traffic, has to go back to Expansion Boulevard.
Are
And
there
that'll be
any-
restricted by gated entry.
All right, so no heavy truck traffic onto or off of 21?
That's correct.
Is there a railroad crossing?
Yes.
There's an
sign
existing
there?
railroad crossing there.
Okay.
Yes.
The other question I wanted to have, I was having difficulty reading these very small site plan maps. And age is creeping up on me, but the access road, do you anticipate that emergency vehicles are going to be able to come into that site from 21, or?
We're making no improvements to the existing drive from 21 to where our cul-de-sac begins. There will be improvements from where our cul-de-sac is back to Expansion Boulevard for truck access.
Okay.
And so what they're utilizing now is going to remain in place for that access.
Okay. Then I guess we're back to fire access. Do we have a 20-foot road there?
You do 100% from Expansion Boulevard all the way through in regards to 21 to where that cul-de-sac stops. I believe it's about 18 or 19 feet now paved, but you've got substantial shoulders outside of that. So
Okay.
however y'all would like to address that.
Are we going to be able to get to it, Chief, with fire and EMS?
Yes, sir. I believe we'll be able to make that happen, just provided nobody parks there.
I just got one thing. Isn't part of the factory, the big trucks, don't they come in and off of Jimmy DeLoach Road there?
They would come off of Jimmy DeLoach onto Expansion Boulevard.
That's what
then
I
come
thought.
down to
Entry and
Pender
exit,
Point,
right?
And then access our
Okay,
development.
fire truck could get through there.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all the questions I've got. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Public hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve it along with the contingency that all the unresolved situations are resolved before we give it a final approval.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Approval of that in writing from the engineers, please. In writing. Mr. Zip.
Yes.
That all of these conditions have been met. All right, thank you.
And they will, the review engineer will provide Mr. Harvey a final approval.
Our engineer will.
All right.
Thank you.
Brian, you hear that?
Brian?
All righty.
All right. 13,
Item 13A is the resolution number 20-05, the adoption of the Chatham County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan.
As all of you know, the cities within a county are required to be part of a hazard mitigation plan. The hazard mitigation plan sits up there by the mayor. It is high enough that a show pony would have a hard time jumping over it. So we did not include it in your computers. But we did include, I have read it, however, and it does cover us and it meets the requirements of the law, and suggest that the council approve and sign the resolution.
anybody got any questions?
I just got a question for Mr. Corsi. Did you find anything?
I did not. I reviewed all of it, and it's standard in form. No problems.
I recommend approval.
I second.
Favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B,
Item B is ordinance number 20-04 for the personal transportation and low-speed vehicles, second reading.
all right, this public hearing is now open. Anybody have any questions?
I've had a couple of calls regarding when will this take effect, and I think the answer to that is January. Is that correct? Yeah. And also, someone called me regarding children now driving with an adult on the golf cart. Is that still allowed until January?
It's not supposed to.
The answer is no. That's a violation of state law. You can't do that.
Who's the chief?
That's a big man.
Under the current ordinance is clear as mud, but Mr. Corsi's correct, it's not. It has been occurring, and we're trying to address it on a case-by-case base now, because again, the goal is to educate, and I just stopped two within the last week and had a talk, and that's seemed to be slowly working, and that's going to be our goal when we start in January. We'll come up with a process. I'll discuss it with the city manager to make sure we have the application process correct, as well as a sticker, and then we'll start pumping out information through all of our websites and all the departments to try and educate. And then we'll probably take 30 to 60 days before we really start, if we have to.
You won't start enforcing it until February?
What we'll do is once we have the program in place, it's going to be 30, 60 days before. If we had to write a citation, we would. The goal would be to issue warning citations, so they would go home and say, Mom, Dad, or whoever, I got a ticket for this, but it's a warning, and if they have questions, they can contact my office.
I have a question. I know the answer from what y'all just said, but I had someone, a grown person, that their children are 15, the grandchild is 15, and one's a little younger, and they wanted to know if it would be allowed for him to, during Thanksgiving week, be able to drive the golf cart.
I would refer them to read the ordinance, and that will answer that for them.
I'll answer that question.
No. It'd be no.
Okay, so
The child does not have either a
Talking about-
learner's license or a driver's license. The answer is no under Georgia law.
well, I want it heard on the also
It
on
would
the.
need to be a license, not a learner license.
Okay.
Now, if they want to do that on their own property, they can knock themselves out.
Chief, they could have a learner's permit if an adult with a license
If a
was in the
learner's
vehicle.
permit,
If a
one has a
licensed
learner's
driver-
permit.
It's very similar to the current
law for operating a motor vehicle on a public
If
highway.
the child could drive an automobile, they can drive the golf cart. Otherwise, no.
Okay, I hope a lot of people are listening.
We would just ask for everybody to educate themselves and come into compliance, sir.
Okay.
Does that person that's, say you got a learner's license and you're driving a golf cart, the person with them, is there a certain age they have to be a licensed driver or just a licensed driver?
18.
18, okay.
And just so we can go ahead and clear it,
Okay.
they must be able to actually take physical control. Also meaning that if that person that's in the passenger's side is intoxicated to the point where they would be considered less safe, then that's another issue we would deal with, and that would not be a city ordinance. That would be a Georgia State Code charge.
And that would be an open container anyway.
Well, open container, public intoxication, allow one to operate unlawfully if we had to go that route. My hope and prayer is that we're going to get 100% compliance, but I can pray. It is 2020, we're going into 2021, we just hope for the best.
Yeah, if I may, this is a safety issue.
Right.
I have been involved in a couple of cases over my career where children have been either killed or fallen off of golf carts onto curbing with severe traumatic brain injuries. That's what this is about. And that's what the Georgia legislature was attempting to close when it changed the law a few years back. So the answer is no children unless that child can drive an automobile, period.
No disagreement, Mr.
Okay.
Corsi. We're on the same page. I'm just trying to beg people to please come into compliance so we don't have to have a bad situation.
It's just
when somebody gets
an
hurt.
awakening for everybody out here.
It's long overdue. As Mr. Jones has stated before, Glenn Jones, we've worked on this for years on and off, and we keep taking all the complaints. And again, our goal has always been to gain voluntary compliance and educate. There have been some incidences where we've had impaired drivers, reckless drivers, and things of that nature, and we've had to take the appropriate action. And that's what we're going to do, keep people safe.
All right, so let's just get straight on what we're voting on this tonight. The hip restraint, the viaduct.
The viaduct has been added, both sides, provided you are moving in the direction of traffic.
Right.
And the width of both sides are the same.
They are.
Okay.
The only question that I didn't ever get answered, and I read through it last night again one more time, and I didn't see it, and it is simple, but just need to get clarity. It did read that the, I think, I'm not sure exactly, but I know the city manager, the police chief, can authorize on certain occasions we can let golf carts come in from outside the city. The question I'd asked last month was, what about the ones who just want to bring in their golf cart on the weekend if they live in wherever and they come into Port Wentworth? Then naturally they're not going to be registered. Do they? How are we going to address that part?
Sir, what we would do was educate them on the current ordinance and ask them to please stop operating it until they come into compliance with the city's ordinance.
I understand that part, but
And if they don't, we'll give them a ticket.
You're talking about like Stand Up for America?
No. It says that. It says that part, special events, Stand Up for America. That's in the contract. That's in it. What I'm saying is, if someone who just comes in and just say like when they buy a new car, they got a dealer tag on the back of it, or they're waiting on their tag. So, and they're going to come in just because they're going to be coming in. They want to ride through the city. Upon if they're coming in just for anything. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I know it has happened. But if we're going to create an ordinance and we're going to create this document, we need to have everything covered. So it'd be a shame that if someone who's doing everything legally in the city, but they don't have a sticker like I will have on mine,
Then it ain't legal.
So why would someone just want to come ride around Port Wentworth?
Well, Mr. Mayor, it has happened more than you would ever think that people do when you see them out there. And the question was asked by me more than a few times, so that's why I'm trying to ask it. But if this body does not want to address it, then that's fine. But, you know, I try to make it where we try to, I agree. I've said this from 99.5%. I've agreed everything. But when you make a document, you need to make sure the document is taken care of so as to be understandable one by one. Just like the chief said, we're gonna educate them. And people do come in on the weekends during the springtime, and they'll be living in Effingham County. Say, hey, I'm just gonna come and stay, and we're just gonna ride around the streets of Point because we can't do it in Effingham
the
County.
lowest common denominator.
So, I'm just saying, we want to make sure. But if this body wants to do what they're going to do, I'm going to be legal on mine. I'm
When
just
in
trying to-
Rome,
There
do
is
as the
a-
Romans do.
yeah,
If you
there
come
is
to
an
Port
option.
Wentworth, abide by our ordinance.
There is an option that you could put in
Look,
place
I get all of that.
for that kind of case, Glenn, and that issue would be if the vehicle was registered to someone else, the individual driving it, and that individual had a Georgia driver's license that gave his home a record outside of Port Wentworth, you could potentially make that exception if you so desired.
For how long?
But, well, only for, it couldn't be permanent, that's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. They
Yeah,
wouldn't come
I
out
mean-
here to stay.
No, they wouldn't. They would be, as Glenn suggested, you're talking about coming for a few days.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see no,
But
Your Honor, the easiest way to handle it is going to be, as with anything under current state law, and Mr. Corsi can attest to it, ultimately, this body can give us laws and governance for the ordinances, but ultimately, by state law, it's at the discretion of the officer. So it's on my job and my command staff to educate my staff as to what we expect. And with that, there's got to be a lot of discretion, and there's also got to be a lot of common sense, which a lot of times, and I'll be the first to admit it, some of my people might have an absent moment, but we do everything we can to make sure of that. If a situation like that arises, our direction to our officers are going to be, hey, if it's the first time you've encountered them, educate them and ask them to please stop driving it. If they continue to violate it, then we'll take the proper action necessary. This is a living, breathing document, so to speak, like the Constitution. You can make amendments and changes if we have problems, or you all find something or get complaints, we can address them and maybe come back and make some modifications. But as the ordinance written, I think it's something we can, it's a good starting point. And we're going to have bumps, and if you got issues or problems, please call me, and we're going to work through it together.
Okay. I got a question. What if, in any instance of, parents bringing their young children, like toddlers, I'm assuming that they're going to be in car seats or something like that. Or has that been?
On a golf cart, sir?
Well, some people will do it.
No, I'm asking you if that's what you're talking about. I mean, there's no current requirement for that. But I've seen it, especially in my travels going to different vacation spots. Myrtle Beach, for one, you will see parents that will install a car seat and put their child in it.
Okay.
And that's a very good idea. It's a great idea because if it's a good, proper seatbelt and they follow the manufacturer guidelines, it's going to protect that child just as it would in a motor vehicle.
Okay.
But, and again, if we see children that are moving about, acting, like they're not using good judgment with their children, we're going to stop and educate them too. Because at the end of the day, it's the children that can't protect themselves.
it's all about safety.
There are no requirements under Georgia's law for children to be placed in safety seats, as you say, and that's why we don't have that addressed in this ordinance.
But overall, with all the work that's been put into it, speaking with members of council, Mr. Corsi, I mean, it's a good starting point. It's an issue that's had to be addressed, and we'll do everything we can to make it work.
Okay.
All right. Anybody got any more questions? Okay. This hearing is now closed. Can I get someone to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Shanti, you think we don't have an executive session. Do you have anyone on the line that wants to speak?
No, sir. Mr. Harvey's the only one on the line tonight, but you do have two speakers that signed up.
Hannah's already spoken, and Jason has too, I think. Yeah, I think he just left. All right. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
JP, you got it? You ain't got nothing? Oh, okay. Well, I make a motion that we
You can
adjourn.
speak, sir. All right, to get a motion to adjourn?
Barbie done made it.
Okay.
Second it.
All in favor? Y'all have a good night.